Was saving money one of your resolutions for 2020? Or are you just looking for a more sustainable way and earth-friendly way to shop for fashion? Or maybe, like some of us, me included, have the past weeks or months of extra baking made it necessary for you to find some new to you clothes. Well, if any of those might apply to you, then hang on tight and we will be talking today about my favorite tips and tricks for pre-loved shopping. Hi, I'm Liz and welcome to Closet Play Image. Thanks so much for visiting my channel. And here is the place where I share with you tips and tricks to find your style, love your style, and live your style. I'm a trained image, wardrobe, and color consultant, and I love helping my clients find clothes they love, that work for them, that they love, and the way they love their look. So let's get started on pre-loved shopping. Now, when I talk about pre-loved shopping, I can mean consignment store shopping. I could be talking about thrift shopping or online resale shopping. So whether that's eBay, Poshmark, ThreadUp, there's a couple other sites as well. So I just want to share with you my top tips and tricks for pre-loved shopping. I had a question about this last week and I did a little quick IGTV video about it, but I really didn't have enough time to say what I needed to say there. So that's why you get today's video. So as an overview, all of these shopping tips for pre-loved shopping have an element of expectation management in it. And so thinking about that, number one tip for pre-loved shopping is know yourself. Know yourself. Know your body shape. Know what kinds of clothes work for you. Know what shapes flatter and fit you. So for example, if you know you look fabulous in a fit and flare dress and you look absolutely horrible in a sheath dress, then as you're shopping, don't hope that that sheath, when it never looks good on you and you've tried it over and over again in the stores and it doesn't work for your body shape, and don't waste your time and the vendor's time buying that, because that's just an exercise in frustration. So avoid buying pieces that you know don't flatter your body. And if you don't know what your body shape is or what kind of pieces fit and flatter you, I will post down below a link to some articles about body shape on my website, on the blog. So point number one about knowing yourself, knowing your body shape and what fits you and suits you. Know your colors. What kind of colors look good on you? What kind of colors don't? Like, I love olive green, but it makes me look like something the cat sicked up. So I don't even bother looking at olive green. Blues, pinks, cool reds, yes, they look amazing. So I stick with the colors that I know work best for me, for my skin tone. And again, there will be all kinds of information if you just hit color in the search bar on my website. So really important. Knowing what does work for you, knowing your colors will also help later when we talk about narrowing your parameters. And know what you will and will not wear or buy, I should say wear, if it's pre-loved. So a lot of times we may buy something, but it hits our creep meter. And what I mean by creep meter, so my creep meter triggers at undergarments, running shoes, and bathing suits. I will not buy swimwear, running shoes, or undergarments pre-loved. Just doesn't work for me. Now, other people have no problem. I know vintage shoppers who are looking for vintage lingerie and vintage swimwear, and they love that, and that works for them. That's fabulous. But most of us have a creep meter somewhere along the line. A great place to start if you are uncomfortable about buying pre-loved at all. A fabulous place to start is with, for example, handbags, accessories, scarves, things of that nature, or even jackets, because that's an outer garment that isn't necessarily touching our skin. So think about that. Think, where's your creep meter? Handbags, wallets, other accessories is a great place to start. And know what brands work for you. If you know that items from the Gap and Talbots work really well for you, or Anthropologie, for example, then search for those brands. It seems like a no-brainer, but sometimes we forget. We put in what we're looking for, but we don't think to narrow by brand. So on a lot of the websites, you can search by brand. So do that. You shop for brands that you know already work for you and for your body. It's a great way to increase your success level. So number one is knowing yourself. Number two, know your merchandise. Read the descriptions of the merchandise exceedingly carefully. Read absolutely every little bit about it. Take a really close look at the pictures. And if you don't see the information you're looking for, message that vendor. If they want your sale, they will respond. And if they don't respond, and it doesn't say that they're gone for a week or something, because usually most responsible vendors will say if they're going to be out of town and won't be able to respond. So if you want more information, ask for that information. Also, do your research. Look for the information that they're missing, or for further information by Googling that same or searching that same item from other vendors. Because, for example, maybe your vendor didn't list that it was dry clean only, but another vendor took a picture of the care tag that shows the dry clean only symbol, and you go, oh, no, I don't want dry clean only. That's not my jam. I need it to be wash and wear. So research your item, research it for that other vendors are selling, because you may get fuller and more complete information there. And then also take that item and just research it out on the edge, open up another tab and find out what people thought of it when they bought it new. Was it good quality? Did it last? Were they happy with it? Because if it wasn't good quality and didn't last, if you're buying it pre-loved, it's really not going to last for you, because it's already been through one person. Unless they bought it and received it as a gift and they're just reselling it because it didn't work for them, and it's kind of one of those new with tags or new without tags situations, and you have to decide whether that qualifies as pre-loved for you or not. So know your merchandise. On the know your merchandise, also know your vendor. Check your vendor's score or grade, and also look, for example, for me, no returns is usually a deal breaker. Now, there are some items that I will shop no returns for. If it's the kind of thing that I wouldn't mind, it's so expensive that I would just kind of throw that money away. Or I don't mind thinking of it as, okay, I'm buying this to see if it works, and if it doesn't, I will give it to my local thrift store. If I'm okay with that, if I'm okay wasting that money or donating that money to someone, then that's fine. But if it's a bigger ticket item or something that I've been waiting for, that's a deal breaker for me. And sometimes I've actually messaged sellers who have said, on the thing it'll say no returns at all, and I'll ask 3 or 4 questions about it, because I really need to be sure. And at the end I'll say, generally I don't buy from no return vendors because of these issues. And sometimes they'll say, well, in this case that will be fine, you can return it. And then you keep that message traffic so that you have that. But anyway, so know yourself, know your merchandise. Third tip, use your filters. When we're talking online and even offline, and I'll talk about how to do that in a second, but online, use those filters. It can be really overwhelming. If I put in skirt or blue skirt, I am going to get, particularly like on eBay or a larger site, I'm going to get thousands of responses. That doesn't help me. So I want to narrow it down. Petite blue skirt, 4. I don't have to write size, just number 4. So that's going to get me a petite blue skirt in size 4. It might give me all the size 4 skirts, but at least I'm in a narrower range. If I definitely want an A-line, I might put an A-line or flare. I may need to put A-line, comma, flare, comma, skirt, comma, petite. So actually without the commas, but you know what I mean, just the string of all the things that I want. So if I think about that, whenever my grouping pops up and there are thousands of hits or hundreds of hits and I want to narrow it further, then I'll go in and narrow by brand. Maybe I'll narrow by color, because a lot of times the color is kind of strange. Maybe I'll narrow by material. If I want a leather skirt, if I want a cotton skirt. So you can narrow and use those search parameters to narrow so that you're not looking at so many things at once that you get overwhelmed. If I find it's easier, and if I'm interested in a skirt in maybe blue or pink or green, I'm going to search all the blue skirts at once, all the green skirts at once, and all the pink. I don't want to hit all three of those groupings because it's going to be too much for me to process. Now that's me. Maybe you love the idea of looking at 1,000 skirts, but I don't. It's overwhelming. So I'll narrow it as far as I can, and then I'll look at my options. I'll narrow again in another color and another color. I just find that narrowing that helps the sense of overwhelm that you can get particularly when you shop online. Now, when you're in person and you're at, for example, a consignment store, or even more so, consignment stores tend to be smaller and more boutique-y, but if you're shopping at a large thrift store, it can be really easy to get overwhelmed, especially if you don't have a plan or a list. When you walk in and it's like a football field full of clothes. It's like, where do you start? That's where putting on your filters is really, really key. So if I know that I need a white blouse, then I'm going to go look for a white blouse. I'm just going to look for, in the shirt department, I'm going to look at white, and I'm going to stick in the white shirts. And if they don't organize by color, which my local Goodwill does, which I think is absolutely lovely. If they don't organize by color, but all the shirts are in one place, then you're only going to walk the racks and you're only going to pull the white ones as you go. So if I was only looking for green shirts, I would be scanning the rack and I would go, oh, green. I wouldn't even look at the other ones in between. I would just look at the green ones. Then, for example, if I do want a green shirt, then I would double back at the end and I would look at the white shirts, because I can dye a white shirt green and make it my white shirt, right? So that's just kind of another tip or trick. If you're looking for something in a particular color and they don't have it, then maybe you need to look for white, check the fabric content, because if it's, natural fibers, cotton, linen, rayon, you can dye it pretty well with easy to find dye. You can dye anything with Procyon, really amazing dyes, but you may not want to go through all that work. So that was tip number 3, use your filters. And I use those same filters when I go shopping, excuse me, even just at a regular store. I don't bother looking for things in the colors or items that I'm not looking for, unless I'm just on a recce mission, and then I'm probably not shopping anyway. I'm just browsing. Tip number 4, be patient. I, for example, have been looking for a red dress since around Christmas time. I didn't want it for Christmas. I wanted it for spring and summer. I knew I wanted a new to me red dress. And so I started looking months ago. I pop on every once in a while and I hit my search. I go to a thrift store, not now, I'm not going to a thrift or consignment store, obviously. But I look for those pieces every once in a while. I just, let me see if I can find something. It's just kind of a regular check. It's not that I need it now. So if I need something immediately, I'm probably going to have to go buy new. But if I'm looking for something that's on my plan, then I can be patient. I can wait for that. Now, that said, planning is key, but serendipity plays a part as well. So plan, but leave a little room for serendipity. So that red dress I was telling you about was on my French 5 for spring and summer, my French 5 shopping list. And I've been looking since January for it because I knew it just kept coming up. And I was like, okay, I really want a red dress. I used to have one, loved it. Had a winter one, needed a spring and summer version. So been looking. Haven't found. Just not right. I ordered 2 different ones and had to return them both. Neither one of them worked, even knowing my size, because I bought from a brand that I didn't know my size, but I thought, well, it was worth a try because they allowed returns. And then another one I got, and it was very stained, and the vendor had said nothing about stains or damage, so I just, sorry, you need to take this back. That one would have been perfect. Unfortunately, it wasn't. So the serendipity part comes in. I ended up finding a pink dress. Technically pink is red, but that's another story. I really do still want red. By a brand that I know fits me well, in a really great shape for me. So that was like a total win. Yes, it wasn't on my plan, but it turned out to be a beautiful serendipity purchase. So there you go, plan and serendipity. So tip number 5 is about where you shop. It's really just like real estate, location, location, location. So I want to shop. The number one tip that I can give you about shopping where is shop when you are traveling. Anytime, and I would say shop consignment, not necessarily thrift. Anytime that we go on vacation, I will look to see what consignment stores are in the area, because you never know. You may find some amazing pieces there. People who have homes in vacation cities and towns tend to have more disposable income, and they're probably buying higher quality merchandise, names that you may not normally be able to afford, but ooh, look, I found it consignment, which has happened to me quite frequently. So also it gives you a great souvenir from your trip that you will actually see and use and wear, not just sit in a drawer or somewhere like, a t-shirt that says a place name on it. That may not be something you wear, but that necklace, every time you take it out, reminds you of the fabulous time you had on that trip. So there you go. So think about it. Location, location, location. If you're, for example, in a big city, it's a college town, you might want to shop consignment near the university, but you probably don't want to shop thrift near the university, because that's probably where the students got rid of all their stuff rather than pack it and move it home. It may not be what you're looking for. So location, location, location. And the last location that I always suggest people look, particularly if you're looking for vintage or really unusual, interesting items or accessories, is those little antique malls that have cropped up all over, that aren't actually malls, but they are places where vendors rent booths and they sell their merchandise. A lot of times the antique dealers will run across interesting pieces, particularly jewelry or handbags. And they will sell them in their booth, or sometimes there's vintage clothing or resale clothing vendors that will set up in those antique malls. That's actually where I found my Chanel. I have a black, not black, dark navy Chanel jacket, blazer that I found there, and I certainly could never have afforded that even on a resale site. So that's always a good place to find them too. So those are 5 tips and tricks. Know yourself, know your merchandise, use your filters, be patient and go with a plan, and allow room for serendipity. And last, location, location, location. Think about where you shop. So those are my 5 top tips for shopping pre-loved. I hope you found them helpful. If you would like more information about Closet Play Image, you'll find it down below. And if you would like to join the conversation or have a question that you would like to ask, comments are disabled here on YouTube because there's too many places on social media to check. But you can you can find me on Instagram at Closet Play Image, or on Facebook, also Closet Play Image. And you are welcome to join me over there for conversation. Hope you have a fabulous time, and might be time to open that wardrobe to pre-owned. Have a fabulous day. Stay stylish. Button.